Greetings from the Idiot Box. I'm Allison Lips, recording on Super Bowl Sunday 2025. Tonight's big game is between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are hoping for a three-peat, but I know a lot of my friends and colleagues are hoping for a Philadelphia Eagles victory. While I don't care about the game, and a lot of the Super Bowl commercials are posted online, whether it's YouTube or Today's Show, going on and on about all the wonderful ads. That's what they've been doing the last week. Um, Either way, that means I no longer have to watch the Super Bowl just for the ads. However, I do go to grad school in South Jersey and would like to be allowed back on Rowan University's campus. So go Birds! Now that I've acknowledged that tonight, the Super Bowl is probably going to be the most watched event of the year, I figured it was also a good time to talk about the most watched TV events of all time. After all, 19 of the 20 most watched events are Super Bowls. That's not surprising because we all get together and watch the Super Bowl either at a Super Bowl party or we watch it because we want to know if we have a chance of winning the Office Super Bowl pool. What is surprising is that the MASH finale remains on the top 20 list at number 11. That could change tonight. It could drop to number 12. But it is astonishing that the MASH finale aired on February 28th, 1983, and is holding its own against Super Bowls. Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen was seen by almost 106 million viewers. For comparison, last year's Super Bowl 58 reached 123.7 million viewers. It also had some interesting factors. First, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce had just gone public with their relationship, causing an influx of new football fans who wanted to see what Taylor Swift's boyfriend was up to. While that's probably oversimplifying it, the news was making a big deal out of it, making it sound like these women never cared about football before Taylor Swift's boyfriend was a football player. The good thing is that these Swifties bonded with their fathers over football and learned about the game. The 2004 Super Bowl also had more going for it than Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. It was broadcast for the first time on CBS, Univision, and Nickelodeon. While CBS is your usual broadcast network, and Univision makes sense to have a Spanish language broadcast, Nickelodeon is where things get a little unusual. For some reason, Nickelodeon decided to get into the football business. Okay, not some reason. It's money. There is millions, if not billions, of money in airing football games. However, Nickelodeon seems to have lasting power with their version of football games. Kids are watching, and even adults find that the CGI slime geysers, every time there's a touchdown, add something to the game. I don't get it, but it, you know, and nowadays, anything that you find fun, go for it. Also, before we get into the finale of MASH, let's do a quick rundown of the most watched television broadcasts. There are two different metrics, which result in slightly different lists. The first way of determining most watched television broadcasts is by average viewership. We know what a million viewers means. The second is by ratings. To calculate the ratings, you need to do some math. It is the number of households watching a program during a given time slot divided by the number of households that own a television. So if 25 million households are watching a program and 50 million have TV, that would be 50% of all television households watching whatever program. Obviously, those are easy numbers to work with and not at all reflective of how many people watch television in the United States. But with that in mind, MASH still tops the list of most watched programs when you take into account ratings because 60.2% of all television households at that time in 1982 tuned into MASH. You can't pay people to get those numbers today. And going simply by number of people who watched an an event, and after the Super Bowl is removed from that list, the top 10 broadcasts are in order from most watched to least watched, which is weird when we're talking about over 76 million people, are MASH, the Gulf War coverage, the first Clinton-Trump debate, the Cheers finale, the ladies singles figure skating at the 1994 Winter Olympics, the TV movie The Day After, which aired on NBC, the last episode of Roots, and the Seinfeld finale. Like I said before, all of those events had more than 76.3 million viewers. And we probably will never see numbers like that again outside of the Super Bowl or the occasional presidential debate because few things compel the country to gather around the TV and watch the same event. And while most of the events I mentioned are clear from their titles, a few of them don't seem like a big deal unless you understand the history behind them. The Dallas episode Who Done It was the fourth episode of the fourth season of Dallas. On the surface, that doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is also the episode that Who Shot JR was answered. And that was a storyline that mesmerized people for an entire summer. It made headlines, it was the front page of newspapers. It's crazy how big Dallas and how much people cared about who shot JR. And the other event that needs context is the 1994 Winter Olympics in Lillehammer. The ladies' singles figure skating finals had Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding compete against each other. Okay, rivalries make sense in sports. We are talking about the Super Bowl tonight. However, this was after Harding's husband hired someone to attack Kerrigan, injuring Kerrigan. People were watching this because of the tabloid value of this event and less because people all of a sudden fell in love with ladies figure skating. They just wanted to see if Kerrigan would emerge victorious after being injured. Kerrigan ended up bringing home the silver, and Harding didn't even medal. Within the context of Super Bowls and other major events, the fact that the MASH finale still makes the list time and time again gives you an idea of how much of a big deal the event was. While those familiar with MASH may know it's based on a book, and then there was the Robert Altman movie, the TV show is what most of us remember because it's been in syndication since the show ended in 1983. However, the show's finale was not included originally in that syndication package because it is a 2-hour movie. After 506 episodes and 11 seasons, it was time for the show to end. And it's often pointed out that MASH lasted almost 4 times as long as the war it was based in, which is the Korean War, which lasted 3 years. However, MASH is really an allegory for the Vietnam War, and another frequent criticism of MASH is that the show looks more like the 70s than the 50s. Doesn't really matter because it is still an excellent show and one of the greatest of all time. But that's just giving you a little background on the whole series. And while I like MASH, I had never seen the entire finale before. I thought I had. I used to catch bits and pieces on TV Land when they aired this episode as a special event. So I remember parts of the movie, and we'll call it a movie because it's 2 hours. That's not a typical TV episode. However, Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen isn't the best show of MASH. If you're not familiar with the series, you can easily get lost. It's 2 hours of everyone saying goodbye, tearing up because this may be the last time they see each other, and Benjamin Hawkeye Pierce, played by Alan Alda, who also wrote for the show and produced the show, cracking under the pressure and needing psychiatric help. If you told someone that MASH is a comedy drama or a sitcom, which it has been classified as both, this episode will leave them wondering where the laughs are and if you're out of your mind, because it is a moving episode focusing on how we've gotten to know these characters throughout the series over the last 11 years, but there's not much context outside of that. It does not stand alone, and full disclosure, I probably would have enjoyed it more had I been watching MASH, but MASH right now isn't on my watch list because I have so much to watch between school and the fact that I'm catching up on Better Call Saul because I did not watch it the first time around. With that said, please reach out to me at greetingsfromtheidiotbox@gmail.com or comment with your thoughts on MASH or the finale. Both. Not picky. Love to hear from everyone. I also want to let you know that this is available on YouTube and Spotify. And until next time, goodbye from the Idiot Box. I'm Allison Lips, and thank you for listening. Bye.